What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people and I see dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. We are on a rare Saturday. Let me give a round of applause for everybody that's tuned in for Saturday. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? So I'm a little bit more relaxed. I don't know what that is. It's no different than a Friday. You know what I'm saying? For me, all of the days kind of run the same. It doesn't matter if it's a Saturday, doesn't matter if it's a Friday. It's a beautiful day in the city. I mean, the views, it's just so chill. Everything is awesome. I got out early in the morning to go and record and stuff like that. So it's been a very relaxed. I don't know. It's almost like you just kind of put your shoulders down a little bit more and it don't seem like it's as much going on or something. I don't know what that is, but for whatever reason, doing this makeup show on a Saturday is just a little bit more chill than it would be on a weekday, as though it's any different on a weekday. But what up, y'all? How y'all feel? I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock out with me. I'm definitely gonna get to the prayers. I'm a little bit more chill. I'm not even sure if we're gonna do a whole 2 hours, but we'll probably do the same amount, the whole 2 hours or whatever. But yeah, man, I'm feeling good. We had after hours last night. I think that the last couple of weeks has just kind of been more chill, a little bit more relaxed, slow motion, not a lot of pressure, all of that stuff. But I'm in a good mood. I'm in a really, really good mood. I think I'm gonna go and do an eye test today, before the end of the year, taking advantage of all of those benefits. You know what I'm saying? I got some new shades. Actually, I had these glasses, these same glasses, for a long time. I just have never worn them ever because I didn't go and get my prescription put in them yet. But I don't like to use glasses as just sunglasses. All of my glasses is usually transitional, so they just automatically are sunglasses, but I always want to put my always want to put my prescription in it. Shout out to Yakima James. I'm gonna definitely read that super chat shortly. So this is what they look like. I always like to keep a fresh pair of shades. Every year I get that new stuff. You keep your fresh pair. So these are my newest Balmain shades right there. See those? Gotta keep you the new fresh pair. I bought these when I was in Houston, I think. Houston. They beautiful. They absolutely gorgeous. See those? See all of that? So I was going through and I was cleaning up, getting straightened up and everything prepared. See the bees at the end. I love a nice pair of shades. So they dope, they gorgeous, but I definitely got to get my prescription put in them first before I rock them. They are. Always got to keep you a fresh pair of new shades. That's my thing. Watches and shades for the win. So let me put that back on. What's going on, y'all? How y'all feel on this Saturday morning? I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for always tuning in. Let me get a little bit of the housekeeping out of the way first and foremost. Let me just say, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon in a couple days. I want y'all to join in on the beginning of the month. My expectation is to do a live stream either tomorrow or the beginning of the week because I want to make sure that y'all got y'all budgets together. So we got a new live stream that's coming up. Let me make sure that I read the super chats and the cash apps, and then we'll go ahead and get it popping with the show. Shout out to everybody. Aw, Shania, you don't like my glasses? That's not nice. That's not nice, Shania. Who raised you? Who raised you? Who raised you, Shania? Is this how y'all going into the new year with bad energy? Shout out to Mike, that dude. I appreciate you for holding me down on this Saturday morning. I also want to give a shout out to Shamira McKay. Says flight is delayed 3 hours, but I got Millionaire Morning Show for the company. Yeah, shout out to you. I appreciate you. Well, listen, the chat is my co-host, so if people got their opinion and people think that the glasses is ugly, I happen to think that they're beautiful. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Shout out to you. Oh, well, listen, I love you anyway, and uh everything isn't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, love, peace, hair grease, and good energy. We know that points of view is always going to be in a negative space. So shout out to all of the Dusties. And then there are some people that just don't necessarily care for them. And I get that. We all got different styles and we always see things differently. Some people think that the Cybertruck is ugly. I think that it's beautiful. It looks different than anything on the road. I don't want to be like everybody else. Some think that the Mercedes is too over the top. I think that it's beautiful. Some people think that the Porsche 911 is not necessarily as pretty as they want it to be. I think it's beautiful. We all got different tastes. So yeah, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Everything is good. I really do love when people got good energy. We in the building. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and read this super chat, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started with prayer because I got good energy today. Yakima James, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for always holding me down. You are very much appreciated. I love you. I love you. I love you. Again, make sure y'all get that Tiege Hanley 40% off your first order, plus 20% off for life, and then tap into the Patreon soon because we're gonna be doing a live stream. Unless you're doing it for the yearly subscription, and you can go ahead and tap into the Patreon. But until then, y'all should just wait till the beginning of the month if you're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get started with the show. Quick Hits. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to, but we want to keep you in the loop on what's going on in these streets. First things first, a McDonald's worker is arrested for shooting a DoorDash driver. Check it out.
Last 90 minutes, police announced that they have taken Kevin Holland into custody after searching for him for 17 hours. He's charged with killing Samori Hasmaddin, who was a DoorDash driver. The shooting happened at a McDonald's on Santa Fe Drive in Fayetteville. Holland worked there. WRAL's Destiny Patterson, she joins us live now. And Destiny, Holland was close to that crime scene.
Police say that they found the suspect, Kevin Holland, about 15 minutes from where I'm standing, which is where that crime scene was. So they found him in Spring Lake, and it was the police department over there that found him and helped bring him into custody. Now, I spent much of the day talking to the victim's loved ones, and they described him as caring and friendly.
What's up, Jerry?
They say that Samori Hasmaddin was a family man who was just trying to provide for his 4 children.
The gloom outside matches the feeling of heartbreak.
It just feels like a dream.
Tasia Black still coming to terms with her new reality.
We were high school sweethearts.
The love of her life taken from her just one day after Christmas.
That's so dumb. This is so stupid. It's so dumb. Y'all be getting into small little stupid confrontations that y'all could just walk away from. And then now somebody is missing and the love of their life and they got kids and all of this stuff and people's whole lives is taken because y'all won't respect. I'll get into that in a minute.
Fayetteville police say a routine pickup for DoorDash turned into a deadly confrontation. Investigators say McDonald's employee Kevin Holland ran away after shooting DoorDash driver Samori Husamuddin to death.
He didn't deserve that. He don't do nothing to nobody.
She calls him a hardworking father, now dead after trying to provide for his family.
He has kids, and they will never see him again.
The nature of that confrontation, still a mystery.
I don't even know the man. Like, I don't know that guy. He don't know us. I don't know him. I've been with Mo for years. Never seen that guy before in my life.
The rain seems to feel her pain.
I'm so used to being able to call him whenever I need to, or just text him when I need to.
What up, Mojo? What up, Sherelle? What up, Heather Woods? That guy Quincy.
Now she clings to their times together.
That guy Quincy says he looked like he got some screws loose. Well, I see this happen all the time. I even see people talk about me or try to confront me about me not getting more confrontational with people in real life. I didn't survive to be 42 years old by being a fool. And the one thing that I learned is that you don't make it out the hood just to have hood behavior and continue to carry on that same confrontational tone. When I see stuff start to get out of hand, when I see people start to get a little bit antsy, when I see people, even in certain environments, I just don't go. And I just think that it's more conducive for me to make it home to my family than it is to get some respect from you. We so caught up on ego and respect and not letting stuff go when you can't walk away from something. Oh no, I'm a man first. No, you dead first. No, you arrested. Both of these guys' lives and everybody that's attached to them is all upended because somebody, and I could tell you probably what happened. Somebody got, pissed off at somebody, or somebody didn't like what somebody else said, and now they had to confront them, or I got to come see you, or I got to come find out what you got. What you gonna say? Say it to my face. Man, we not 13 and 14 and 15 years old. We grown men. And now one of them is going to jail for life. The other one is dead and he got kids. And everybody's families is all mourning and they got to figure out how to get a GoFundMe to go bury you. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Meanwhile, other people is out here living life free, don't have no problems, all because they was willing to walk away because it wasn't even that deep. It's not that deep. But you're going to shoot a man to death? A DoorDash driver and a McDonald's worker get into a confrontation and one of them is dead? It's the dumbest thing ever. And that's why I say the culture is so stupid. The culture is trash. Your parents raised you your whole life and it all ended over a confrontation between a McDonald's worker. Anyways, in addition to that, a man is saying that his life was saved by a woman from a potential ambush. Check it out.
It's a case of mistaken identity. Almost cost a man his life on the South Side. He tells us he was.
I don't need your respect. I'm never going to see you again. I don't know you. I ain't never met you before. You gonna still be doing fries. I gotta go and get this DoorDash order off. I'm gonna be successful, rich, great, raise my kids, see them off to college. I'm never going to see you again. I don't need your respect. I don't need the respect. Take my black card, take anything that you want to take, but I don't never want to see you again. And I'm probably never going to see you again. And I'm going to keep it moving. I don't need no respect from somebody I'm never going to see again.
Ambushed by suspects with an assault rifle and only escaped when a bystander bravely intervened. He spoke with our Jermont Terry in an emotional interview you'll hear only on CBS News Chicago tonight. Jermont.
Joe, the victim did not know the armed man. It appears
Hey,
that
y'all leave Shania alone. She just had an opinion about the glasses. She ain't say nothing personal to me. Listen, Shania is cool. We rocking with Shania. I don't want to live in an echo chamber anyway. If somebody don't necessarily like what I like, that don't mean that they a bad person. That just mean that they got a difference of opinion in me. Y'all let Shania rock. I didn't get mad about it, so y'all shouldn't get mad about it. It's just glasses. I didn't take it personal. We cool. Shania is my girl. She just didn't like the glasses, y'all. Let her rock. It's cool, y'all.
They believed that he looked like someone they were looking for. So often, people do not want to get involved when they see something bad going on. Yet this morning, a woman intervened when she saw those two armed men pointing a gun at that man. And tonight, this young man credits this woman for saving his life. You have a lot to reflect on tonight.
Oh, yeah.
The appreciation of life comes when one has a
read y'all
near-death
super chat
experience.
shortly.
Such was the case for this 28-year-old Friday morning.
I feel grateful. You know, I feel like I had a second chance in life because a strong hero woman.
The young man, who we are not identifying, had just dropped his car off at a West Lawn mechanic. While walking near 59th and Lawndale, he tried hopping on this e-scooter.
Not even a block away from the scooter.
Two men in a dark Hyundai sedan with tinted windows pulled up.
The one guy hopped out with the AK, and I was focusing on him, and then I saw the other guy hopped out with another AK.
The men pointed the guns at his head in the middle of this block. Remember, we're talking 11:30 in the morning.
Thank you,
You're thinking
Katrina.
it's a robbery.
Yes,
I try.
Yes, and then that's when the guy put the gun in my head, and that's when he just put the one in the chamber, and that's when the lady, this hero lady, just like, hey.
That scream was enough for the two men.
No, we didn't forget prayer. We're gonna rock out with it after the quick hits when we get to the real part of the show.
To take off.
She was a hero. She was Superman in a little white car.
But right now you're crying. What are the tears for?
Grateful for another chance of life, another chance to see my unborn child.
Yet he's eternally grateful for the stranger who had enough courage to step in when so many do not.
God forbid, they could have just turned their guns towards her and attacked her.
Fired.
And then.
But she didn't care about that.
She didn't care. She didn't care. And
shout out to everybody that's ambushing people, waiting in the bushes to go and take somebody else's life over in Chicago. And thankful to that woman at Good Samaritan, because she is certainly better than me. I don't know what the heck is going on. I can't step in front of a bullet for somebody. I got to get home to my family. So to the real heroes and to the women that's protecting the men out here in these streets, shout out to you. But good God, y'all ambushing people around Christmas time. Y'all don't even want to put the guns down in Christmas time? Going into the new year? Y'all want people to survive into the new year? And then last but not least, what I would call a great story is that a homeowner killed and injured a couple different people, and then one other person was arrested, open firing on somebody that was breaking into their home down in Florida. Check it out.
Good evening and welcome tonight. I'm Mark Wilson in for Linda Hurtado.
And I'm Haley Hines. Thanks for joining us. First at 5, they were masked and armed with a crowbar. But two men who broke into a Bradenton home last night ended up coming face to face with a homeowner who was armed with a gun. Investigators say the homeowner fired shots, killing one of the intruders. The other ran off but was arrested blocks away. As Fox 13's Kimberly Cuizon tells us, the sheriff is now praising that homeowner.
What up, Molly? What up, Carla?
Manatee Sheriff Rick Wells says the homeowner did exactly what was needed to be done to protect his family. He says the suspect, who was arrested, came to the U.S. on a 90-day visa from Chile that expired in September.
Just after 9 Thursday night, a man and his wife were in their home on Hickory Hammock Circle in Bradenton's River Club when they got a security alert.
They hear this commotion going on. They see these suspects that are masked up, trying to break into the home. They were able to pry that window open.
The homeowner only had seconds to act.
He knew that something bad was about to happen, and he didn't stall. He grabbed his firearm. He told his wife to get into a safe spot.
Manatee Sheriff Rick Wells says the husband came face to face with the masked men. One was already inside his home and another was climbing through a window. Nearby neighbors heard what happened next.
I sat down next to the lanai. The door was open and I vividly heard, 3 gunshots.
27-year-old Jorge Nestevan Flores Toledo of Mexico, who goes by Annabelle Miller Valencia, was injured and later died.
Yeah, he shouldn't even have been in the country. It's time for him to go ahead and go bye-bye. You're going to mess around. Y'all going to mess around and learn the hard way. Keep on breaking into people's homes. Keep on coming into places that you're not supposed to be in. Keep on stealing. Back in the day, they used to chop off a finger every time you got caught stealing. Keep on walking into places that you're not supposed to be in and thinking that everything is sweet.
Detectives say he had been arrested for burglary in Illinois and had an active warrant for a parole violation. The other suspect, 39-year-old Michelle Sotomello, ran off. A Manatee Sheriff's K-9 stopped him a few blocks away.
I praise this husband for doing what he needed to do to protect his home and protect his family.
Sheriff Wells says Sotomello entered the U.S. from California on a now expired 90-day visa from.
Wow, what a surprise. Straight from California all the way down to Florida. I wonder how they got there. Came from California. Not even supposed to be in the country. Supposed to be up out of there.
Chile.
Somehow made it to Tampa about six days ago.
Investigators are now working to determine if Sotomello and Flores Toledo targeted other homes. In court, Sotomello used a translator as he was ordered held in custody.
I just want to say that I never had any firearms or killed anyone.
I don't want you to interpret any facts of the case.
While deputies are working to figure out why the pair came to Manatee County, Sheriff Wells says there's one undeniable fact.
The bottom line is, this is the state of Florida. You want to break into someone's home, you should expect to be shot.
I agree. And we need more sheriffs. We need more police officers. We need more NYPD over in New York. We need more people that will actually stand up for the ones that's the true victim. The true victim is the man that got traumatized because he had to take somebody's life, in my opinion. I know that that's not going to go over well, but this is my opinion. And feel free to disagree with me. The true victim is not the people that got shot or lost their life or the one that got arrested. The true victim is that man's windowsill that got broke. The true victim is the fact that y'all should feel bad that y'all had to get shot for breaking into somebody else's home. You need to be shamed about that. I believe the victim is the homeowner that had to put 3 hot ones out there for y'all. One missed, one got caught in the back, and the other one is gone. That's the true victims. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick hits. Let me go ahead and hit y'all with a prayer. I'm going to read super chats, and then we're going to rock out with the show. Lord, bless us with long suffering, patience. Bless us to be able to endureth to the end and not just be so easily triggered, not to be losing our cool and going off as hotheads, but to be entertaining, to have fun, and to be able to walk away. And I'm talking about in real life. I'm not talking about on the internet. I'm not talking about crashing out on TikTok. I'm not talking about the chat. I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm talking about allowing for our sentiment to carry with us in a positive way in society to impact people positively, not negatively. Bless us to have patience. Bless us to not be so quick to wrath, not so quick to anger. Bless us to be chill. Because you got some box to get home tonight, right? And you got that D to go get tonight, right? And we got some money to go get the next day, right? And we got vacations to take, right? And we got kids to raise, right? And we got graduations to go to, right? And we got other things that's more important than sitting in a cell or sitting under the dirt 6 feet under because we trying to chase somebody else's respect that we ain't never met before. Bless us to be very, very intentional with how it is that we need to get back home instead of being focused on what strangers care about us. They don't care anything about us. If we gonna dress up fly, bless us to dress up fly for us, not for other people that ain't ever gonna see us again. If we gonna be successful, bless us to be successful for us, not so we can go and chase box. If we gonna be awesome, bless us to be awesome for us, so we can be edifying for other people and then they can see the God in us. And we don't have to necessarily say it. We could just preach it when they ask us where we get that shine from. You know what I'm saying? Lord, we love you. We appreciate you. I'm the realest prayer in real life. In Jesus' name. Amen. All right. You said that went off the rail. No, that's how we pray. Oh, y'all don't know how to pray. Y'all be playing. Oh, you think that just because y'all do some, you think that just because the preacher do a lot of slobbing and you think that just because he say that he's speaking in tongues, but he keep on making up his own language, y'all think that that's prayer, huh? Nah, prayer is having a relationship with God to petition him to allow for you to be the best version of yourself. It is waiting on God and petitioning him through his son, Jesus Christ, because anything that you ask in his name where 2 or 3 is gathered, there he is in the midst of thee. You can build a relationship. Let me just give y'all a little bit of insight. Build your relationship with God to where you seek him out and you have a real conversation that allows for him to give you what you need on a regular basis and be real about it. And be real about it. It ain't about how you do it. It's about whether or not you truly can speak to God or speak to Jesus in a way that allows for you to get what you need to be successful, to carry out his will. It ain't about all of that extra stuff. Listen, if you out here and you struggling with some kind of addiction or you got a chick that you need to get over, you need to go and pray about that so you can get some strength. Stop praying for stuff. Stop praying for money. Stop praying for success. Start praying for insight, understanding, character, and the ability to overcome and have a level of discipline that allows for you to be successful. That's what we praying the wrong prayers. Ain't nobody taught y'all how to pray before? Because I could teach you how to pray if you need to learn. You just hearing the quiet part out loud. You hearing the type of prayers that I have inside of my prayer closet, and you ain't never heard a man pray before unless he was on the pulpit asking y'all for some form of donation for the building fund. That's not what we do here. I pray in real life. First thing I do is I brush my teeth, I get up and I fall on my knees and I talk to God in real life, in real time. And if you ain't never seen a man pray, if you ain't never had a man, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you something. I know you looking for a man, but let me tell you what's really popping. If you ain't never had a man put his hands on you in the middle of the night while you sleeping and you woke up and you heard him whispering to God on your behalf, then you ain't never really met a man. If you ain't never met somebody that prayed for you while you sleep and then you reciprocated, then you ain't never really met a man. If you ain't never met a man that on his way out the door to go and have a big meeting or to have something successful, and then he put his hands on your hands and he asked you to pray for him, and then you bow your head and you petition God on his behalf because you want him to be successful, then you ain't never really experienced a real relationship. See, I'm going to teach you in real life. I'm going to teach you in real life what life is really about, because it's not about what the world wants you to do. It's about what makes the most sense for you in your life. I'm telling you the truth. I'm giving you the real. I'm not telling you anything that I don't do myself. I will never lead you into a burning bush. I will never tell you to do something that I do not already do myself. That's a fact. Anybody in the bag chasers will tell you I won't even talk about a subject unless I completed it. I didn't even start talking about the possibility or the difference between building a home unless I completed it. I had to do it first before I had to give it to you. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Real talk. It's a lot of people, like Chase King, they're going to feel inferior from this conversation because, they probably was watching this with their girl one day and their girl was like, oh, I want you to be more like him. And now he only watched me privately so he can hate. That happens in real life. A lot of these guys, they feel some type of way about it because you very matter of fact in who you are, because you a man's man. They haven't had a father in their life. And so, they stick around and they subscribe so that they can listen to what you talk about. And secretly, when they go home, they mimic themselves. They talk like you. They go get glasses like you. They let their beard grow out like yours. They had their little patches in their face. You know what I'm saying? They do all of these things to be like you. They try to get the same car as you. They get them a mini Cybertruck. They get them a one on Amazon that costs $13.99 so they can drive around in their little buggy. Let them rock. As long as we're impacting and we're influencing them, let them be them. Let them be them. They gon' imitate your work. Is this how Anton said? They be in the mirror, substantiate your argument. How we gonna get down today, y'all? Let's pray for everybody. And they take your talking points and they bring them to their little family and they be like, oh, we seen him on the internet. You talking just like him. Do your thing, bro. You never had a father in your life. You never had your uncle to tell you that you was a little bit too sassy. Your mama keep telling you, sit down when you pee when you was little, and you still carried that same sentiment and that same spirit. You got that bitch spirit in you. You know what I'm saying? You got to let that bitchy go. That bitchy spirit in you. It's Saturday. It's Saturday. I know that the daycares is closed. You got to let that bitchy spirit up out of you. All of that wholeness that you got in you, all of that, you know, I'm gonna say something every time. You got that. You got your mama's bitchy spirit in you. You need to let that shit go. And this is not just for him in particular. This is for a lot of guys that always feel the need to be sassy. You know what I'm saying? The type of niggas that be walking around and driving around on that spare tire. He got 2 spare tires, one on the front driver's side and one on the back passenger side, and they be sassy as fuck. You know what I'm saying? You got to let that bitchy spirit up out of you, bro. And when you let that go, your life is going to change. Everything is going to be different going forward. Everything is going to be different going forward. The minute that you let that hoe up out of you, and you need to ask God, God, take this hoe up out of me. Like real talk. When we get off of here, there's no jokes, no none of that. Go in your prayer closet, get on your shoot, you two, you know what I'm saying? You got too much haughty spirit in you. You got that haughtiness in you. When you go in your prayer closet or before you go to sleep tonight, you know what I'm saying? And you wake up and God is dealing with you, tell him to get this hoe up out of me. Get this hoe up out of me. I'm acting just like a chick that's asking for $40 over in the Dominican Republic from a dude that took a spirit flight over here to fuck me. Ask God to take that up out of you. That's not you. That's not what you're supposed to be. All of y'all walking around sassy, your mama taught you that. So you don't know how to be in the presence amongst men and not try to say something just because you want some attention because you didn't get it when you was little. You got to ask God to release you of that bitch. Tell him, I don't want to be a bitch no more. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. You keep watching all of this nasty porn and stuff like that, this shit that's demonic every day, and you getting more and more sassy in your ways. And you look at your profile picture, big dog. You went on the internet. That's what hoes do. They get profile pictures of stuff that they think look cute. They don't put their real selves up there sometimes. You went on Google and Googled this profile picture that is not of you. And you said, I think that this look good, and I'm going to put this on my profile. That's the hoe in you talking right now, bro. That's the hoe in you talking. You don't even use your real name. You an alias. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get that hoe up out of you, bro. It's not of you. It's not from us. It's not from us. Am I wrong or am I wrong? You got a profile picture and you went and got a crown. Nobody calls you king in real life, big dog. Real talk. Nobody says, yeah, he looks like a king. Conversely, I swing with a big stick and my nuts hang all the way down. And everywhere I go, everybody gets down and they make sure that I'm taken care of. That's how kings get treated. When I go into the crib, I get my feet washed. I can't get 2 feet without somebody saying, oh man, let me heat this up for you. What my location is followed to know how close I am to the house so that they know when to put my food in the oven. That's the shit that I get. It's different. And then they always want to get said, no, you press. That's what bitches say. You're pressed. What man do you know says you're pressed? What man do you know says you're pressed? You're pressed. You're pressed. Oh, you press. You press. That's what women talk like. Look at this. You, not while you press. Got to get that woman up out of you, bro. You got to get that female up out of you, bro. I love you, though. Tell your mama I said what up. Tell Bertha I said what up. Anyways, y'all ready? Y'all ready to get... All I ask is for God to use me. Maybe he gonna change somebody's life today and they gonna say, you know what? I was not sassy no more. All I ask is for God to use me. And then we gonna make it happen. We gonna make it shake. You know what I'm saying? That's what the women really want to show y'all. That's what they really want to say to y'all. They don't know how to say it without you getting offended because then you gonna go and cuss her out. That's what the women really, what is this, Wednesday night right now? I feel like I'm on a Wednesday night back in the day. That's what the women want to say to you. You sound just like your mama. You sound, look, and you act like your mama, and you switch like your mama. That's what the women be really wanting to say to y'all, but they don't want y'all to call them too masculine, or they don't want y'all to go off and say, you a chameleon. Okay, well, let me go ahead and speak it out for you. Because they say that Anton, is a little bit more biased, and I'm always for the guys. No, I'm an equal accountability smoke giver. I am going to give you the truth, whether you a man or a woman. I'm going to hold women accountable. I'm going to hold men accountable. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. And I'm going to hold you accountable when you need to be held accountable. Use a bitch. And a man ain't in you. It's a twinkle in your father's eye. This is what the women really want to tell you. I'm going to tell you what they really want to tell you, bro. Pick your balls up, man. If you still got them, if you haven't transitioned yet. Anyways, come on, y'all. Let's go ahead and get back to the show. Let's get back to the show. Let me read some of these super chats. And I don't know where it come from. It come all the way down. Press on up. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue on. I think Trump is planning on throwing Elon under the bus. It will be hilarious to see Elon's response. I don't think so. Absolutely not. Good morning, bag chasers. Nah, I'm saying. Shout out to Antonio Watkins. Tori Armstead says, good morning, AD. I watch you every day, and I'm glad you decided to do the show today. Shout out to Tori. It get a little different on Saturday, right? I will be listening while delivering my mail. Stay blessed. Well, you are in for quite a bit of entertainment, aren't you, Tori? Minnesota County Unsolved Crime Channel says Robert Brooks' video is terrible to watch. Is that the person that was killed by the police officers in New York or something like that? Let me know what that is. 100% Me says a soft answer turns away wrath, but a hard word stirs up anger. That's why you got Chase King up in the chat getting all emotional. AR Smitty says 4 simple words that can save your life. You got it, homie. That's a fact. I agree with that. Hey, Anton, it's my birthday. Happy birthday to Jermaine Boy. Congratulations, big dog. Another year around the sun is a blessing. Dean Murray says, in your personal opinion, do you think the culture has always been trash, or did it gradually progress from a certain point in time? Western culture or black culture? Because it's two different things. I think that both were great at different times and different periods. I remember when black culture used to be a standard. They came from less, but they used to wear suits at the baseball games. They carried themselves differently, and I think that it gradually got worse over time. And there's different factors that go into it, and the same thing with Western culture. But everything is cyclical. I think that everything is going to come back. People are going to start having more standards, and things is going to come together. Kiki, what up, Kiki? Says, I got your back with the super sticker. I appreciate you. Dondrell says, I appreciate you and what you do. Thank you, Dondrell. My girl Molly in the building. Shout out to Molly. Victor Williams is in the building. Says, 80, they want you wipe and sweat every few seconds saying, thank you, Jesus, for 30 minutes while Gam Gam is falling over in the aisle. We ain't going to do that. We just going to talk directly to him in their soul. Get this hoe up out of me is crazy work. It's the truth. We definitely need to pray again. No, God gave me what I needed to give him. God gave me what I needed to give him. Talk to his soul, and he gonna still be typing in the chat trying to prove to us, no, big dog, you got it. I'm really a king in real life. That's nice. It's Free Speech Saturday. We gonna get to it. That's why I like Saturdays, because you can kind of say what you want to say. Exodus 28 through 11. Remember the Sabbath, keep it holy. Sasi says, AD, I never want to get on your bad side. No, I'm a good person. I'm one of the best friends that you could ever have in your entire life. Nobody that knows me in real life is ever going to ever say, I found your channel 2 months ago and I've been watching your channels daily. Keep preaching the facts. Shout out to you and shout out to everybody that I ran into in the streets over the weekend so far. It has been absolutely a blessing. Let's go ahead and get into the show, and we're going to get it rocking. Shout out to my dog Slimmy. I love Slimmy. Slimmy, my guy. Before y'all ever seen Slimmy online, me and Slimmy was rocking out in real life, in person. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into the show. I will be looking at AJ's tree removal shortly. But let's talk about this potential civil war that everybody is saying is brewing within MAGA. I'll give you my opinion. Right now, I'll tell you right now before we get into the video. My opinion is this. There is always truth that's being said. Okay? There is truth that's being communicated right now from Elon Musk, from Vivek Ramaswamy, and from several people, and everybody weighs in. Where people get it wrong is that they think that just because you are Republican or conservative, that you are supposed to agree 100% of the time. And we don't. The same way that you and your family don't agree 100% of the time. We don't agree. And the Millionaire Morning Show, or the people that follow me, everybody don't always agree, which is one of the reasons why I always say, let people rock out as long as they are not overly disrespectful inside of the chat. I don't want to operate in an echo chamber. I want to meet everybody that got a difference of opinion. You are MAGA, and for example, we may have similar sentiments when it comes to business or conservative values or views, but I may not agree with your lifestyle when it comes to the fact that you might be a little sassy. You can be a conservative, sassy man. Right? I may not necessarily care for your lifestyle as far as you keep walking away from every man that you have sex with and have a kid with. You got 4 baby daddies, but you can have conservative values when it comes to reproductive rights, and that's why you got 4 kids. And so we need to have a different conversation about you closing your legs. MAGA or Republican or conservatives, we're not supposed to all agree. The way that we've progressed so fast versus what you look at on the liberal side is that we embrace the idea that we all have differences of opinions or perspectives or socioeconomic statuses or whatever. The fundamentals are there. The details of how you accomplish certain things is what we fight about. And so when people want you to fall out, I think that it's just liberals and people that's on the liberal side or really voted for Kamala Harris that just want us all to hate each other, but they don't believe in true conversation. They don't believe in debates. They don't believe in going back and forth. They don't believe in solving problems by hard conversations. That's the reality of it. And so when you see people that say, "Oh, I think he's gonna do this," no, there's no indication of that whatsoever at all. Everything is great. And this is how we're going to solve a lot of problems, is having honest conversations. Let's get into it.
With big questions about the future of immigration policy in this country as we prepare to bear down on some pretty important debates when it comes to border security. What about the other side of the story? When we talk about comprehensive immigration reform, it does include things like actual legal immigration, work visas, even dreamers, as they're called. The deal that was struck in the Senate that never did become law earlier this year didn't acknowledge any of them. And now we've got a serious debate underway, certainly on social media, involving Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and the MAGA world when it comes to the use of work visas, which both Musk and Ramaswamy would like to see enhanced, reformed, and a move that could be at odds with Donald Trump's approach, or the so-called MAGA approach to border security and immigration. That's where we start with our signature panel. Joining us this Friday, Rick Davis and Jeannie Shanzano, Bloomberg Politics contributors. She is political science professor at Iona University. Rick is partner at Stone Court Capital, are Democrat and Republican, respectively. It's great to see you both. Happy Friday. Welcome back to Bloomberg TV and radio. Rick, I want to start with you here, knowing how much time you spent working in the aim to find comprehensive immigration reform in your time spent in the U.S. Senate with John McCain. Of course, we went through this again with George Bush. And we talked about this over the course of this last year, that we were only getting to one part of the story here, and that's border security. This is a messy debate underway right now, and frankly, there's some pretty off-color and racist commentary on social media that we don't need to get into on this program, but I wonder if there's a silver lining in that it expands the debate over immigration to include a lot more people. Rick, what do you think?
And before Rick starts talking, I do agree that there is a lot of racist conversations. Everything comes back down to race, and we're going to get into that in the next segment of the show, because I seen the CNN panel and them talking about race. But just because you guys are passionate, arguing your points, and you have disagreements, it doesn't mean that you're against each other. I'll give you an example. I got my homegirl Mika in the chat right now. Me and Mika disagree about a lot of things, especially around Drake and Nicki Minaj. Last night, we had some spirited debates where Mika had a difference of opinion. I had a difference of opinion. But when me and Mika link up and we get on the phone or we start talking about stuff, Mika is my baby. That is the love of my life. She can do no wrong in my eyes. But when it comes to having spirited debates, she comes from a completely different background, or she's experienced life differently than I have. And so we talk about that and we disagree and we fight and we act like, You know what I'm saying? Brother and sister. But at the end of the day, that is my baby girl, and it's nothing that you can say about it. The same thing with Q, same thing with Carrie. You've seen me argue with all of them. Quentin can do no wrong in my eyes, and neither can Slimmy. But the point is that we all family and we all working together to build this thing and to build this greatness. And the first thing that Mika will call me and say is, "Hey, is everything good? Is how are you doing today? Is do you need anything from me? I want to add more value into your life." We go at it all the time, back and forth, disagreement. Mika, why you don't like Rock Nation? Drake is better than this person. Mika say, no, Nicki Minaj is the greatest of all time. And then we be loving each other right after that. Just because you disagree don't mean that y'all hate each other, and y'all got to learn how to communicate more effectively. I just don't think that most people are comfortable enough to have those conversations. And so y'all so busy trying to fit in instead of just actually being authentically yourself. And that's why don't nobody trust you. Let's continue.
Yeah, it sure sounds like we're headed to a comprehensive immigration reform proposal from the Trump administration, shocking as it may be.
And somebody says, shouldn't your wife be the love of your life? No, your wife is the love of my life. I don't have the same problems as y'all.
We've, exposed the underbelly of this whole debate. I mean, it was very simple all during the campaign, just to talk about the border, lock down the border needs to be secure. Right. And, 60-70% of the American public agreed with that. Now we're starting to see all kinds of other related issues, which includes Dreamers. We had a conversation about that earlier in the week and what's happening with them, and detention facilities. But now we've hit probably the biggest return on investment for any immigration plan you could have, which is H-1Bs. 38,000 smart people who come to the United States in various capacities. It's not just tech. Who create a lot of value for our country, and an overwhelming large number of them become citizens. So it's amazing to me that nobody thought this was going to be an issue when you had the tech bros come into the aid of the Trump campaign with money and technology, and didn't think that they weren't going to have this number one thing on their platter.
Can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. Jeannie, knowing, of course, that we wouldn't have Elon Musk likely in the U.S. if it weren't for the H-1B program. I believe Jensen Huang, the force behind NVIDIA, same claim. Vivek Ramaswamy tweets, normalcy doesn't cut it in hyper-competitive global market for technical talent. And if we pretend like it does, we'll have our blank handed to us by China. Is he right?
Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, and quite frankly, Donald Trump on the campaign trail on this issue are absolutely right. I loved the fact, by the way, that Vivek Ramaswamy decided to venture into things like Boy Meets World and Urkel and,
Somebody says it's all about cheap labor. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I 100% disagree with you. Has nothing to do with cheap labor whatsoever. If you understand what the true cost is to have somebody on an H-1B visa working for you within a technological field, then you would know that it's not about cheap labor at all. As a matter of fact, tech companies and companies that are trying to build on a research and development and develop new products are willing to spend exponentially more on most of the workers that they have working for them than the products themselves. They put more into research and development than they do into the actual products. So that is unequivocally, that's just false. It's just absolutely false. But guess what? I think that when people realizes that America is not the only country in the world, and it's so many more people than the 350 million people that live in the United States of America versus the other 8.5 billion that lives in the world, when they realize that the world is so much bigger than them, that they go and visit other countries and the innovation that happens, man, look, the only thing at this point, in my opinion, personally, that is saving the United States of America is the fact that we have regulation preventing other countries from taking our lunch. If you've seen some of the technological advancements and some of the things that they are using in their own countries and how things operate and the cultural differences and norms and the type of phones that they got and the type of robots that they using and the type of technology that they got over there, man, I'm telling you, bro, the only thing that is saving the United States of America right now is the fact that we control the market when it comes to money, finances, And we are regulating who can and who can't participate in the United States of America. Because the minute that if it was truly free reign, and thank God that it's not free reign, because it's not free reign over in their country, so you can justify regulating how they operate in your country. But I'm telling you, go over to the UAE and see what the hell they got going on over there. Go over there to China and see go to Japan, go to Tokyo, and see how they moving over there. For whatever reason, y'all think that y'all smarter than them. You're not. You're not. The world been caught up to what we got going on technologically. The world been caught on to what we got going on technologically. So if you think that y'all really need to travel. Honestly, y'all genuinely need to travel. I'm telling you, you really need to get out of your comfort zone. Because if you've seen some of the stuff that was going on in some of these places, it's insane. And I ain't talking about on the internet, I'm talking about in real life.
Saved by the Bell. I don't know how many people remember these shows, but he went to that cultural area. And the problem for Donald Trump is he spent this campaign talking about, in the most dehumanizing language you can imagine, the fact that immigrants, illegal, legal, and otherwise, because he never differentiated, are destroying our way of life and are taking American jobs. I just pulled 3 quotes where he talks about immigrants taking Black and Hispanic jobs. So now he finds himself trying to do the bidding of these tech bros and his friends who subsidize his campaign and are subsidizing his inauguration. And they are absolutely right on this point. But you can't have it both ways. And this is the problem that Donald Trump has. And he's going to have a really difficult time backtracking from the many, many horrific things he said on the campaign trail, which the base took very seriously, apparently.
Well, I don't know what people think we've been doing this whole time.
Do not spam the chat. We see y'all first time y'all put it. You don't have to copy and paste it. I know y'all want to get everybody's attention. Do not spam the chat.
This has been a critical component to developing world-class technology in Silicon Valley. It's how we got to space. If you want to go back and read the right stuff, we can go through that all over again. Rick, Elon Musk puts on Twitter here, thinking of America, he's got this figured out with the sports analogy. Thinking of America as a pro sports team that has been winning for a long time. And
somebody said the question is the education that much more different and better than America? Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely, 100%. There are places in the world where they go to school year round. They don't take breaks. They've created an environment that's ideal. They go to school year around and they do not even take breaks. They don't take summers off. And the kids are in school 10, 12 hours a day. And they sleep in school. They take naps, they wake up, and then they get back to it. 1,000%. 1,000%. That is absolutely correct.
Wants to keep winning. Is the right mental construct. Do you think he's actually winning people over with this argument right now, or could border security now be at risk because of this?
No, if you put it in purely political terms, I mean, he's defining himself, right? He is picking
I've
fights
seen that,
with
EV
everybody.
Life. I did see that.
Whether he even thinks he's picking a fight. He thinks it's just good policy to go out there and do this. He's trying to explain it. He's taken on every comer. I mean, getting in to a argument online with Laura Loomer. I mean, the most inexperienced political professional knows you don't get into fights in public with people like her. She's a crackpot. She's a racist, and yet he seems to give her elevation when he addresses it. So, I think that Elon Musk is going to learn the hard way in his experience in Washington as a public servant now, and maybe to just hold his fire on a few things. I mean, I'm sure by New Year's we'll be talking about the big argument between Elon Musk and Robert Kennedy over Ozempic. I mean,
yeah, I don't think that it's a civil war within MAGA. I think that it's a civil war within a culture. The same things that I've been preaching even on this channel for the longest, and saying that we have a cultural, our cultures are trash as far as what we've adopted and embraced here in the United States of America, versus, what we've been traditionally trained to be. Our cultures are weak. It's trash, 100%. I think that we have a culture issue, and that's where the war is. But I don't think it has anything to do with the party itself. There is no real infighting within the the Republican Party. All of the problems is in the Democratic Party, personally. But let me read some of these super chats, and then we'll continue over with the show. AJ's tree removal says, sadly, the majority of black men act sassy. I tend to agree with you. I don't know if it's the majority, but it's a lot of them. I'll say that. Not the majority. I think it's a lot of them. Let us pray. Lord, help them understand that medicine and the candy tell Bertha hello is crazy work. Shout out to my girl Mika. Says, people believe we live in an echo chamber, but we family. That's a fact. Mika know what's up. Maria says it's only a matter of time before Musk puts his interests over American interests. We got rid of DEI for another effort that benefits outside interests. We got rid of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. MAGA doesn't believe H-1B is fair. Interesting. It's funny how people make somebody a monolith. That's like saying all black people like watermelon. It's not true. Morning, AD, happy Saturday. I get where Elon is coming from, but I also see the other side as well. I understand the entitlement argument, but how does this increase? How does increased legal migration contribute to the America First agenda? Well, they come in, they pay taxes, they contribute to the American system, so on and so forth. Nobody is against immigration into this country. We're against illegal immigration into this country in which we can't vet the people that come in. We've always benefited from migrants. We've always benefited from migrants. The problem is when you fly a bunch of them and just drop them off over in Springfield or Aurora. Or you just let a bunch of them run in undocumented and unvetted, and then they wind up killing somebody and burning them up on the subway. We've never been against immigration into this country. This whole country was built by immigrants. Vince G in the building, I appreciate you for holding me down. LaFleur, I appreciate you, LaFleur. I love that. Kid Chameleon says, many U.S. employees are entitled, lazy, and or useless, so the skill gap has to be plugged somehow. Pick your balls up and pick up your ovaries and compete. That's a fact. And everybody want to keep, but I'm tired and I want to work from home. You can't have it both ways. Marius says, H-1B is a short-term fix to a systemic problem with the education system. There is nothing wrong with H-1B, but there needs to be an effort to train Americans and revamp American schools. Trump or Musk gave no plan for that. It's not their job. They're not the president of the United States of America. They're the ones that's Department of Government Efficiency and they're businessmen. It's not their job to come up with a plan to fix the education system. They're not over the Department of Education. Y'all want them to fix everything? You want them to truly be Iron Man? Vince G says, if it's cheap labor, Asians and Indians wouldn't be the richest ethnic groups. That's a fact. And look at the number of STEM grads compared to others major. They are the highest earning demographic, Indians and Asians, in the United States of America. So you cannot say it's based off of cheap labor. Antonio Watkins says, I agree with Mika last night. More schools should have more real life curriculums. Some kids could get ahead despite of bad parenting. You're never going to beat your circumstances of bad parenting. Listen. You're going to have the anomaly that overcomes their circumstances. But 9 times out of 10, it is statistically proven that you have a less chance of being successful if you have broken households and bad parenting. You cannot outrun the culture. As a whole, individually you may be able to, but as a whole, you cannot outrun the culture. You can't outrun the culture that you're subjected to because you always inherently gonna go back to it. That's why even the word says, put it in them young and they'll never depart from it. Put it in them young, they'll never depart from it. When you see all of these people walking around and they saying, I was born this way. You wasn't born that way. You was culturally You was culturally groomed to adopt that as your norm. You were culturally groomed to adopt that as your norm. Whatever it is that you experience, it is a possibility for you to overcome it. But even the word of God says the children are the ones that's going to pay for the sins of their parent. The children are the ones that pay for the sins of their parents. If you are a horrible parent raising kids in a horrible environment and you broke and you always on Section 8, you're going to have a 1 out of 8. It's a 1 out of 8 that's going to win. AD is on the wrong side, so he don't even know. What is the right side? What is the right side? You culturally a tether. What is that? What exactly does that mean? I was born in Detroit, Michigan. My father was born in Dawson, Georgia. His father was born in Dawson, Georgia. And his father was born in Dawson, Georgia. What is culturally a tether? You're culturally broke with a cat as your avatar. You're culturally broke and nobody fears you and nobody cares anything about you. You have a drawing as your avatar that was made by the same woman that accused Jay-Z of raping her in New York City when she was 13 years old. The same painter, her, is the same one that drew your avatar. You are culturally dusty. You have no means to do anything to anybody. Nobody even respects you. You vote based off of identity politics. You voted for Kamala Harris, bitch. Who you talking to? You are nothing to, you are culturally irrelevant. Your painting was drawn by the same person that accused Jay-Z of raping her when she was 13 years old. You're culturally a tether. You don't even know how to say you culturally. What is you culturally a tether? And then if you say you're probably going to use the wrong context. Is it Y-O-U''RE? Is it Y-O-U-R? Which one is it? Bitch, I'm more American than you ever have been, ever in your life. You don't even know who your real daddy is. How do you even know what your lineage is? You don't even know who your real father is. I know who my father is. I know that Thad was born in Dawson, Georgia, and I know Aurelius was born. Yeah, my grandfather's name was Aurelius. Was born in Dawson, Georgia. You don't even know who your father is, bitch. Your father is a mailman from Nigeria. You're culturally a tether. You culturally on my dick. It's Saturday. We gonna have it out. We gonna have it out today. We gonna have it out today. No holds bars. Nah, we not. Nope. I tried to be nice earlier in the show. You didn't want that. You didn't like that. You didn't like me being nice. You wanted me to be Anton from Green Lawn between Norfolk and Chippewa, 8 Mile and 7 Mile. You wanted me to be 20214 Green Lawn, Anton, didn't you? You from Haiti. Can't even go back to your own country. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. President, it's not personal. It's not personal. That's how we can shift back into show mode. Presidential says, I'm grateful for your take on this. I really needed it. Thanks for enlightening me. Yep, I appreciate you too. High Tolerance in the building says, good morning, AD. Late, but it is a cultural fail. Priorities have been jacked dating back to when we were in school. When Pookie and Squirrel, who was Pookie and Squirrel, were dressed to death, class clowning. Trini and Dip Tac were wearing buddies. We're wearing buddies. Getting straight A's. I understand what you're saying. Shout out to my dog, High Tolerance. That's a strong, hard bitch. Chill, fam. They not ready. No, ain't nobody. Listen, daycares is closed. Churches is closed. During the week, we gonna go ahead and be cool. But during the weekend, we gonna go ahead and get it out. Shout out to my girl Molly in the building. I appreciate you. Says, hope you get to enjoy this nice weather today. Oh, you know I'm out in the streets today, Molly. I'm out in the streets today, Molly. Shout out to everybody that contributed to the platform. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turn on your notifications. Send this out to your friends and family and tell Gam Mam come get this work. Tell Gam come get this work. Let's go over to the next thing. Oh, okay. CNN. So this is what I wanted to talk about. So everybody likes to make everything about race. Everybody likes to make everything about race. You know what I noticed? When I was nice, y'all took my kindness for weakness. Over these last couple of months, y'all turned on me. Over these last couple of months, y'all turned on me. Y'all disagreed with everything that I said because you decided that you wanted to embrace the villain era. And so you think that just because I'm trying to turn a new leaf and because I'm on Fox News, that I'm that far removed. And so now you smell blood in the water. You smell blood in the water, but I got a harpoon. I got a harpoon. Yeah, you took my kindness for weakness. You thought that it was sweet over here. Ain't nothing sweet. I ain't no different. I'm just trying to get that other bag. I'm just trying to get that other bag. You think that it's okay to be in your villain era, but I'm going to learn you something in 2025. I'm going to learn you something in 2025. Yeah, you're going to get this work. Let's get into it.
I think it is revealed that there is some elasticity in the party on its ability to debate the immigration issue. Certainly, there are hardliners on immigration who have supported Donald Trump. He himself has been a hardliner, but he has also said repeatedly, publicly.
Do not time out anybody that is not being overly disrespectful inside of the chat. We are not an echo chamber. Let people get their thoughts off. Let them be sassy.
That he wants immigration reform, that he wants to do something for the dreamers. He has also talked about the need for people to come in to the country to do certain kinds of things. And then you have these other new supporters of Donald Trump who understand that if you're just recruiting like the top 0.1% of the best and most talented, say engineers from around the world, that's probably a good thing. I think where there's great alignment is on the need to eliminate the fraud in the program. And I think some of these visa programs are being used to bring people in for no other reason than to displace American workers and to do things more cheaply. So I think the common ground and the way forward is bring in the people who are the goats, of engineering from around the world. Bring those people here and then focus on American workers, American students for everything else. And that would be a good blend of how I think this is going to move forward.
That might be the case, but Laura Loomer is saying don't bring Indians into America. I mean, she's pretty clear about what she's
I don't know if she's watched many Bollywood movies, but not only are they very good, but they're actually a lot more modest than Hollywood films. So that comment was a little bit off base, but I think what we're calling the tech right versus the MAGA right is really a long-standing split in the Republican Party between libertarians and conservatives. The Republican Party has been holding together those two groups for a long time, and they agree on about 70, 80% of stuff. This is a thing they've always disagreed on. Libertarians value economic growth and efficiency and free markets above all else. Conservatives go halfway there, but at the end of the day, will side with protecting American workers from foreign competition. So, you have to give credit to Donald Trump for holding those two coalitions together throughout the entire campaign so that this fissure didn't actually come to light until after they won. And now you're seeing it come to light.
Where did the significant contingent of ethno-nationalists fall within the conservatism and libertarianism frame? I mean, to me, that doesn't necessarily fit within either of those two. And I think it is a significant thing within the MAGA coalition. But it also, this debate reveals something broader. You've got, I think, a very incoherent MAGA coalition for years now, where you've got business elites driving the policy discussion, setting the policy agenda, as working class people are oftentimes getting screwed. I mean, the top priority for this incoming administration is going to be tax cuts for the wealthy.
I knew he was sassy. I knew it immediately because he ain't got no lineup. Whenever I see dudes that get up there and they start talking like this and they ain't got no lineup and they got black around their eyes, I already know they sassy. The agenda for the Republican Party is not to have tax cuts for the rich. It's to spur economic activity within the economy that allows for everybody to benefit, but for us to also continue to remain number one in the powerhouse in the world in everything that we do, including science and engineering, as well as finance and culture. It's always the same thing. They always go back to the same thing. Listen, how much did y'all benefit from the Kamala Harris-Biden administration over the last 3.5 years? I'm just trying to understand it. How's Maryland doing with all of the overtaxing that's happening down there? Because I know they in a deficit. How's California faring right now? How's Illinois making out right now? All of those states are in a deficit and they think that they can tax their way to wealth, and that is not what success looks like when it comes to American culture. It's stupid. He falls right off the bandwagon and he goes right to his liberal agenda. And I don't even know who this guy is. What's his name? Mondare Jones, Democrat, former New York congressman. Yeah, I figured that. That's why they got him up out of there.
And we now see this conversation about immigration not even taking shape the way that white working class people thought it would.
It is taking away. That's why they get into deportations. As soon as Trump get into office, he got Tom Homan on deck. Tom Homan is on deck. How was immigration? How was the conversation about immigration not taking place the way that they wanted it to?
I may ask a question, Madison. So you think working class people have been screwed by the immigration policy of the last 4 years where people are coming into the country and displacing American workers?
No, so I don't agree with the framing of that, actually.
Well, I'm just asking because you said it. I just wonder how they're being screwed.
No, I didn't. I said white working class people are being screwed by the Republican Party, whose top priority is tax cuts for billionaires and for billion-dollar corporations.
But you would agree that the flood of immigration has also screwed working class people.
Opposing minimum wage increases, opposing universal child care, and
so
efforts
stupid.
to expand health care.
We're talking about immigration.
But hang on, if I may, but Scott and Mondare, I mean, I actually think we're veering way off course here because
I hate this moderator.
The thing
Let
that Donald
them fight.
Trump,
Let them get it off. This moderator is trash.
apparently ran on predominantly is stopping the flow of illegal immigration into the country. When we talk about H-1B visas, we're talking about 85,000 a year of legal immigrants.
Correct. This is not illegal migrants coming into the country, flooding in over the border. These are people that apply for visas, and it is a cap on how many you can have inside of the country or that they're going to issue on a yearly basis. This is not a flood of people that are coming into the country. This is not millions of people. This is a cap. And if you get to a certain level as far as a doctorate degree, then you can get an extra 20,000 people that are able to get these H-1B visas that then pay taxes inside of the United States of America while at the same time advancing whatever it is that they do for a living in our technology. Why wouldn't you want those? If we want the best and brightest and we want to lead the rest over to everywhere else. As a matter of fact, listen, I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better, okay? I believe that we should do exactly what these other countries did over the last 3.5, 4 years. I believe that we need to send the dusties of America and we need to get them all passports and let them become passport sisters and passport bros. I believe that we need to take everybody that is dusty in America and we need to figure out how they can become passport sis and passport bros. We need to be sending them to other countries to go up there and mess up what they got going on. We need to take the best of what of everybody that's here, keep them, continue to help them and put our tax dollars to work for the people that's in the United States of America. We need to then get the best of what's out there so we can bring all of the talent here in the United States of America. And we need to send all of these dusty people. When people say, yeah, man, that's why we gonna date out. When women come up and they say, yeah, man, black men ain't this is why I'm gonna date out. Ma'am, who's stopping you? Who's stopping you from going over there and doing what you want to do when you want to do it with whoever it is that you want to do it with? Nobody is holding you hostage. Nobody is saying, please, please, please stay with black men. If you was worthy of getting picked, you would have got picked already. So I believe that we need to have a lower barrier to entry for people that want to get passports and go and live in other countries. That's dusty. If you got a record, get you a pass. Yes. Why are we limiting passports for people that got records and felonies? Those are the people we need to be getting up out of here in the first place. And that doesn't apply to everybody because I know it's some people that serve their time and they own the right and the straight and the narrow. But I believe that passports should be easily issued to people that have a record. Sexual predators, passport for you. Passport for you. And we also will give you some incentives to move to a different country. You sassy, what do you identify as? We need to start profiling people and we need to start manufacturing and doing and engineering a better population of people because this population has a lot of dust on it. Go on over there. Go. Catch you a Spirit flight over to Sicily. So listen, I looked at this report that said that a lot of these guys are going over there and they coming back with these hard HIV diseases. There is a lot of guys that's going over there. Look at you, and you right on. I want to be one too. I want to be one too. I want to be a part of you guys. Don't y'all know that y'all all over there getting with the same chick and passing the same HIV back and forth to each other? I'm going to talk about this later. I'm going to talk because I know that they don't like it. I don't care. You dusty to me. It doesn't make any difference. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to tell the truth no matter whether you like it or not. We gonna get there. Let's continue.
Okay, legal immigrants. So there are plenty of Republicans right now who are waging an internal war within their party, not about illegal immigration, not about millions of illegal immigrants, but about fewer than 100,000 legal immigrants a year. I mean, I think that is what is catching people off guard. Who have, I guess, more recently joined the MAGA coalition.
Right, and I think President Trump has been very supportive of legal immigrants. I mean, his wife's...
And if you want to leave, you don't have to announce it. Just go ahead and leave. No, please come back because you got your passport and you just came back from Sasua. Listen, you don't have to announce it. Just do what you're going to do and let's make it shake, baby. Don't announce it. Just go.
Legal immigrant. He's expressed this sentiment many, many times. You look at Elon Musk being a great example of someone who came here on an H-1B visa himself. And so I think this is very important that we continue to have the H-1B visas. We want to be competitive in the global economy. But the reality is, and President Trump has also talked about this on many occasions, we don't want to see people coming here being educated in our institutions, being that top 0.01% that Elon Musk or that Scott mentions earlier in engineering or in other fields, and being sent to work for Chinese companies or being sent to work for these other companies. And so we want to make sure that we can continue to have those people coming here, working here, and helping us grow, which helps American workers. But at the same time, we've seen a lot of issues with the H-1B visas. We've seen these workers exploited and American workers hurt in this process. And so I think there's a lot of things and a lot of questions that are coming up in this debate that are legitimate questions. And so I think on both sides, there is a lot of positive coming out of this. And I think it's something that needs to be hashed out, not just by Republicans, but by people across the country.
I think it's obviously.
Do y'all think that this is a race issue? Because it's turning into a race issue also.
It's a good debate, but I do question this idea that when we're talking about the scale of this particular immigrant visa program, whether you're actually really talking about something that, you were talking about harm to American workers, that is happening on a scale that is far greater than the H-1B program. Yeah. I think you have to acknowledge that.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, we like the percentage of people in the country right now that are foreign born is the highest it's been in over a century. That's not an H-1B visa problem. That's a southern border problem. So that's if not 99%, at least 90% of the immigration problem we're talking about. Trump, if you recall, actually, when Trump went on the All In podcast, which is the most popular podcast on the tech right.
By a lot of immigrants on that podcast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, mostly immigrants on that podcast. Yeah. Successful tech entrepreneur immigrants. Yeah. They asked him, right at the beginning of the podcast, this H-1B thing, are you for that? And Trump said, you know what, I think that is a good idea. I think we need to bring those people. But after that podcast, he had to walk those comments back. But he was able to manage that during the campaign. But now that they've won, this is a deep fissure within the party.
He loved that word. He loved that fissure. He said fissure twice. I'm going to have to look that up.
Torres wrote this. The far-right backlash against Indian immigrants confirms what we in the Democratic Party have long known, that the far-right is implacably hostile to all forms of non-European immigrants, regardless of legal status. It's not about status. It's about race. The far-right prefers purity over prosperity.
I don't agree with anything that is extreme or far anything. I don't like the far left. I don't like the far right. I don't like anything that's too far gone. I don't like anything that's too far. I don't even like traveling too far away from a gas station because I need to know where the next stop is going to be. I don't like anything too far anything. And so just because you label yourself conservative, but you too far right to where you're not open to the possibility of learning something different than what you've been taught, then I can't really rock with you because you're too close-minded. You're too close-minded. Anyways, let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to continue over with the show. Shout out to Mr. Joe. Mr. Joe says, Derailment show in full effect. It's Saturday, man. Y'all should have expected this. I-80. I'm surprised there's many people in here on a Saturday. I wasn't expecting that. Over 3,000 people in here on a Saturday? Wow. I never do shows on a Saturday on the Millionaire Morning Show. What are your thoughts on getting diversified in digital assets like cryptocurrency? Do it. I can't give you any advice on it because I'm not an expert in it, but I think you should do it. Florida Panoramic says we need to add Saturdays. It's up. Nope. Monday through Friday. Anton's on Free Smoke Saturday. Let's get it. Make sure, listen, if you've been here more than once, you should have already been subscribed. If this is your first time here, hit a like for the algorithm. We're going to rock out. They know it's okay to disagree with each other, right? That's what makes a group great. They can disagree on things, but still come together in the end and make a decision. Versus just agreeing on everything. Shout out to Rush King. That is a great take. Tariffs on everybody, said Kid Chameleon. Mr. Hunter 5150 says the American education culture is back and that mail is zesty. I'll never move to Illinois taxing people to death. You ain't lying about that. Delta Fox says there aren't enough Americans with the technical skills companies need. Maybe they need to learn those skills instead of complaining and asking to be trained on the same companies, by the same companies that won't hire them. Mick says, AD, what's going on, big dog? Nothing but the rent, big dog. I never heard of a hard H-1B before. Oh, we got some educating to do then. Is Trump considering annexing Canada to enlarge the U.S.? Probably not. He's just talking stuff. Shout out to my girl, Annie Marie. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody that contributes to the platform. I don't ask for it, but I always like to show love to the people that hold me down. Yeah, again, yeah, Miss Tiff. Yep, you should have been subscribed a long time ago. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get it rocking, man. I want to get into sex, drug, and rock and roll. Or you could just say the NYPD. So this cop, I think his name is Jeffrey something. Jeffrey something is adding more context because he's been silent this whole time. And you know, inside of our culture, it's always guilty until proven innocent. It's guilty until proven innocent. So for those of you guys that are unfamiliar, it was a woman that basically said that she was getting paid for play as far as she was being required to give sexual favors in order to get all of this overtime, that she refused, but she was a top earning cop in the not in the United States of America, maybe in the United States of America, top earning cop in the NYPD with over $400,000 a year in earnings for a desk job, an administrative job, lieutenant desk job in the house, probably working from home some days. She was making over $400,000 a year. Her base salary was over $176,000. And then with overtime, she was getting an additional over 200 and something thousand. And so she was running it up. And once they started investigating her, she then said that the NYPD police chief was taking box for overtime or was petitioning box for overtime. And she retired. She tried to retire early while they got her under investigation. But he's now speaking, and he's saying that this is absolutely, positively a lie. I'm going to let his lawyer and him tell you about it.
Sex for overtime scheme with...
That is just not correct or is only telling half of the story. And that's why we called this press conference. So thank you for being here so that we can set the record straight as best we can. Jeff Madry started off in the NYPD as a traffic agent. In his over 34 years with the NYPD,
let's speed this
up.
He
worked himself up from traffic agent to police officer to sergeant to lieutenant, all the way up to the highest ranking uniformed member of the NYPD, chief of department. That was about 2 years ago. He's credited for saving this city during the George Floyd riots. In the last 2 years as chief of department, he's driven down violent crimes, shootings, homicides through his work in supervising the operations of the approximately 33,500 uniformed police personnel of this city. He's a beloved member of every community he served, community he lives in, and if you ask any cop, they'll tell you he's a cop's cop. Last Friday, December 20th, there was a complaint filed in the office of Employment Opportunities setting forth certain allegations by Lieutenant Quatisha Epps against Chief Madry. Those allegations included sexual abuse, taking advantage of her fragile situation, and using overtime to pay for sexual favors. We can tell you now, those allegations are a lie. They're not true. We deny every aspect of them.
So he basically saying, listen, I know y'all convicted me in a court of public opinion, and y'all said that I'm guilty, but I'm telling you right now, that it is a lie. It is definitively a lie. All right? He said, listen, this woman is saying that I was trying to get some box for overtime, and it's a lie. Let's continue.
We'll tell you right now that Lieutenant Epps, since October of this year, has been under investigation by the Internal Affairs Bureau of the NYPD for putting in for overtime she never completed.
Ah, the plot thickens.
So she's under investigation for stealing time and putting in for overtime that she never worked. Now, Lieutenant Epps got caught with her hand in the cookie jar and is trying to deflect her wrongdoing by making these allegations against Chief Madry in the hopes that she'll get away with part or all of her scheme. However, the truth is, Lieutenant Epps had a consensual adult relationship, albeit for a short time, with Jeff. And we have tons of evidence by way of text messages, photographs, videos, phone records, and X-rated and racy videos and photographs from Lieutenant Epps, who is a self-professed swinger. And we have all this evidence because she sent it to Chief Madry in her attempts to have him begin a relationship with her.
Oh! You was an old hoe. An old hoe. Yeah. Yeah. This is why. Listen. They got the text messages, they got the evidence, they got the videos, they got the pictures, they got everything. They got all of the electronic evidence. This is why I say that I never believe all women. I don't. By default, I always say innocent until proven guilty. You cannot sit there and tell me that everybody and every woman that ever accused a guy, you're just supposed to believe it by default. No. I want to know. I want to see it. I want to let it play out. I want to see what's really happening. And I want to see how this is really going on. So at one point for years, he was busting it open. Yeah. And he got all of the evidence. He said, listen, you're not about to just hurt me and burn me and lie on me and try to ruin my reputation. You was out here super freak. It's super freaky. Ow. No. And this is for all of the simps and all of the women that by default said, no, Anton, you have to believe her. Believe who? I don't believe nobody. I need to see the evidence when the money involved, when allegations, when people starting to get fired, when they getting arrested. I want to see the evidence. I am not just by default going to rock with anything that anybody's saying just because they said it. I'm not going. I got to see the evidence first. I have to see the evidence first. Let's continue.
Now, going to the overtime aspect of this case, we want to set the record straight so that everyone understands how overtime works in the NYPD.
Let me know. Bring me in the
There
loop,
is a
big
system
dog.
of checks and balances in place so that overtime can't be stolen. But let me tell you right now, Chief Madry is not a part of that checks and balance system. Chief Madry manages the day-to-day operations of 33,500 police officers in their fight on crime. Okay? Now, when a police officer or a member of the NYPD puts in for overtime.
Okay, bring me the charts.
They have to fill out what's called a slip. That slip has to be signed by a supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
That supervisor is never a chief. There are people within chiefs' offices who are tasked with making sure that slips are appropriate and have to be approved. And that's where you see the bottom where they sign it. And here is the back of it, where a commanding officer has to approve it. Jeff had a commanding officer of the chief of department's office. He is not the commanding officer. Okay? Jeff never approves, assigns, or gives overtime. Lots of people in the chief of department's office made overtime because they legitimately worked it. In fact, last year, there were 415 members of the NYPD that made over $100,000 in overtime. Okay? If there is an issue with how that's billed or approved, that's not Jeff's responsibility. Now, Lieutenant Epps in 2023 made about $200,000 in overtime. And she knew she was being investigated. She applied to retire on December 16th.
He got all of the receipts, and this is why. Protect all men. Let me get a round of applause for Protect All Men. Do you see how easy it is for somebody to cost somebody their job? And somebody in the chat said, well, why did he retire? He was forced to resign. He was forced out. Why? Because Eric Adams is under fire, and anybody that's around Eric Adams that's under fire, because Eric Adams is trying to become mayor again, and he's trying to run for re-election, and there's too many people that's falling around him, and there's too much corruption. And so the appearance that you did something wrong could be enough to force you to have to resign and retire early. And so this guy was railroaded because this woman was under investigation for finessing, having time card fraud, and getting paid over $200,000 of taxpayer overtime. And so what she decided to do was throw him under the bus and say that he was out here finessing her when he was never the one to approve her overtime in the first place. He was never the one to approve her overtime in the first place. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Another casualty of an old hag stealing money, being a swinger, and then using her sexuality to continue to try to save herself. Bull crap.
That same day, she attended the chief of department's Christmas party along with 40 of her colleagues, where she was smiling and thanking everyone for the cordial, congenial work environment they had.
Yep.
She even texted that night to the chief her gratitude. 2 days later,
receipts.
The Internal Affairs Bureau, we believe, suspended her for the issue with her overtime, which the decision to suspend her had nothing to do with Chief Madry. He didn't have a hand in it or a decision. And now she claims she was suspended in retaliation for a complaint. But guess what? The complaint was 2 days later. So I'm not sure what complaint she's referring to.
So all of a sudden you got a complaint once the Internal Affairs started investigating. If you're going to be the top overtime earner, you got to actually have been worked that overtime. Because the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to wonder like, hey, how was they making so much money? They're not even going to say nothing to you. They're just going to start watching your time card slip, seeing if you're doing it the right way. If you are going to be the top of anything, if you're going to make the most money in your city, if you're going to have the most overtime in your company, if you're going to be driving the biggest car, don't y'all know that that's how Frank Lucas got caught up, is wearing a chinchilla? If you're going to be wearing Rolexes, if you're going to be stunting, riding around in Cybertrucks, you're going to have to be doing it the right way, and you have to be doing it legally. If you are doing anything illegal, know that they are going to be watching you the minute that you make yourself a target and you start to become more visible. If you are going to be the top earner in overtime in the entire New York Police Department, they are going to watch you and figure out what the heck is going on. That's law. That's just logic. That's just pure logic.
Nothing to do with her suspension. And we know that her suspension for improperly putting in for overtime predates any allegations that she has against the chief. We know she's being investigated for January, February, March, April, May of 2023. Her allegations start in June. So even though she claims retaliation for a complaint, she filed a complaint on December 20th. And it was co-signed by the same lawyer who in the past has unsuccessfully sued Jeff for a plaintiff named Tabitha Foster. Halfway through the Tabitha Foster case, Attorney Sanders ditched his client and ran for the hills. She got other attorneys, but that case was dismissed, and she now has to pay costs for bringing her meritless case. Perhaps that lawyer had something to do with Lieutenant Epps' sudden about face. I don't know. The time will tell, because we are prepared to litigate every issue. Now, for those of you who've seen in the media that Jeff somehow was banished to Georgia by his wife, we're not in Georgia, we're in New York. Jeff is here. And why do I bring that up? I bring that up because...
Wait a minute. I didn't know he was wife. I didn't know he had a wife. This gets more juicy every single detail. I might have to break this down individually on the Anton Daniels channel. I do. I got to break this down individually. It gets juicier. So what you saying, that Jeff was banished to Georgia by his wife? So Jeff was busting it down for a real one. Jeff, I don't even blame Jeff. Let me give Jeff a round of applause. Jeff was right and Jeff was wrong. Jeff was right and Jeff was wrong. Okay? Let me tell you why. Jeff was wrong because you never, ever put the money on the line for some hoes. You never jeopardize the bag. I don't care what she looked like. And this was the old hag. This was a 50-year-old box. Under no... Listen, fellas, if you don't learn anything from this conversation, learn this. We're going to break this down on the Anton Daniels channel. I'm done with this story. If you don't learn anything else, learn this. Jeff was right and Jeff was wrong, okay? Jeff was wrong. Let's start with the bad news first. Jeff was wrong because Jeff decided that he wanted to play stepdaddy in the same place that he was getting his paycheck from. Under no circumstances do you ever, I don't care how bad she is, I don't care how wide she opened up her mouth, how far her tongue stick out, or what her Instagram pictures is. I don't care who hit it first. I don't care if Ray J got to it or Kanye got to it first. I don't care if she's your high school sweetheart and she just gonna happen to be sashaying through and she still look fit. Under no circumstances, listen to me, do you ever put the money over the women. Never, ever, never mess up your bag. Never, ever talk to a chick that you work with. I don't care if grandpa did it. I don't care if that was a cultural norm. I don't care if everybody is having a big orgy at the job. You go home. Go home. Never put your job. Anything could be fixed. We could argue back and forth. We can have different conversations. We could debate. We could be mad at each other. We could do anything. But the one thing that we can't come back from is our inability to pay our bills and keep a roof over our head. Never mess up the bag under no circumstances. That's number one. All right? Second thing is Jeff was right. Yeah, Jeff was right. A lot of people say, Anton, well, how was Jeff? Because Jeff, the thing that Jeff was wrong on is that Jeff couldn't control his animalistic nature. But I'm telling you that most men, let me stop. I don't want to get into the second part. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turn on your notifications. We'll get into that on the Anton Daniels channel. Make sure y'all subscribe. H-1B is a race issue to right white nationalists. That may be true. I might agree with you on that. Let me give you a round of applause. Spaces in the building says serve them passports and tariffs on their way out. Five Brown says fissure, a narrow opening produced by cleavage or separation of parts. Cleavage, a natural division or groove in an organ as in the brain. Thank you, Five Brown. I appreciate you, big dog. Thanks for breaking all of this down on this information. American Coin said. More Than Mellow says, hey, Anton, how do you manage imposter syndrome when you first started in corporate? Managers say, I'm doing great, but I always feel on edge. Thank you. Well, here's the thing. Imposter syndrome is to believe, essentially, is to believe that you're not good enough for the job that you're doing. And so in a way, you don't feel like you deserve a promotion or you deserve even to be in a position that you're in. I would always say you have to dress for the job that you want versus the job that you have. The more you learn about the position, the more comfortable you get. But more importantly, I believe that you always should be uncomfortable if you're in corporate America. The minute that you get comfortable is the minute that you get laid off. The minute that you get comfortable is the minute that you get content and you don't move up in corporate America. You can avoid imposter syndrome by continuing to level up and continuing to work on your craft outside of what you do for a living. So I'll give you an example, right? As a software engineer, often at times the job that you get and the responsibilities that you have in corporate America are minimal compared to the actual skill set that you need or the skill set that you have. You may interview and they be requiring all of this and all of that, but in reality, it's easy. It's super easy. And the amount of information that you use or that you've learned is minimal compared to what you train for or what your knowledge base is. And so often at times we can start to get comfortable, right? But the reality is that I never waited for something to happen to me. I always dressed for the job that I wanted versus the job that I had. So my goal was to continue to grow. My goal was to get to the next bag. My goal was to understand that they was going to pay me more to leave than they would to stay. So I never had imposter syndrome because I was always working on the growth aspect of who I am because I was focused on the next opportunity that was going to come to me. Where people mess up is that they think that the job is going to define them and they think that everything that they do is based off of their expertise at the job. It's not. It's what you do after hours. It's the work that you put in after hours. It's the dedication to continue to expand your knowledge base and grow. That's the thing that then separates you from everybody else. And imposter syndrome is something within. That's something within. Don't ever lean into imposter syndrome because the way that you avoid that is to be focusing on the next growth opportunity. You're always going to be in a position where you feel less than if you have that mindset in which you're not growing because now you're always trying to catch up. You see what I'm saying? Let me continue on. Great question. Great question. AD, them sex secretaries be talking. No, they just be advertising. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says, I knew she was complicit, but she, by the nature of his position and hers, she could not consent. It is the corporate equivalent of civil statutory rape. No, because they didn't say that this just started. He said at one point in history, all right? So it's no such thing, in my opinion, of statutory rape just because it's a superior. The sentiment is, the general thing is, don't have it. Just don't do it. You ain't got to even worry about it, but don't do it. Him having the evidence, I don't know if that saves him or saves his job because it's not like he gonna ever become a police chief again. But the fact that he was being accused of this, I don't know. I'm gonna go over it on the Anton Daniels channel. I don't want to go through the whole thing. Moral of the story: keep your receipts, fellas. No, keep your dick in your pants and keep your receipts. Shout out to Let. I appreciate you. Anwar Williams says, keep your old phones with the charger, fellas. Abe the Hunter says, AD, I said that head game looks strong within her. Women took L's all year. Rashawn Irving says Exhibit A and B. DC King is in the building, says Republicans have got everything right except for gay rights. It should be illegal, not gays, to get married and adopt children. Timeout says, I agree, Anton. He was probably forced to step down and retire for the optics of the administration and to keep his retirement check. Facts. Jeff should know you don't where you eat. That is a fact. Solution Trucking Channel is in the building, says, good morning, AD. I may not be in the chat all the time, but I never miss a show. Shout out to Solution Trucking Channel. You were my inspiration to start my channel a year ago. I got my first $100 donation a few days ago, and I plan on starting a new channel very soon. Shout out to Solution. Hey, man, I love you. I appreciate you, and congratulations on the growth. And I'm glad that you was inspired to do something good for yourself. All right, let's continue on with the show. It's a great show today, right? It's a great show today. Man, I need to do more shows like this. Anyways, let's get into Fani Willis, all right? Fani Willis is being subpoenaed, and I think that the cars are starting to fall for her, and she's starting to panic. Check it out.
A judge rules Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis can be subpoenaed by the state Senate. This comes as they continue to investigate possible misconduct during her prosecution of President-elect Donald Trump. Fox 5's Eric Perry is at the live desk on the story.
I'm gonna read the Cash
Eric,
App
what
shortly,
is
too.
the latest on this development?
Yeah, Christine, this comes just weeks after a state appeals court removed Willis.
Come on, man. Put them S's back up. Before we get to it, put them S's back up. Put them S's up. All of that. And the S. On them S's. I don't like the messes. I mean, I know we're going to get to Fani Willis. Shout out to ESDC. Shout out to Trini Life. I appreciate you. Trini Life says, good Saturday show. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, Trini Life. Put the messes up, man. All the messes. I don't like the messes, bro. A little too sassy. Hold it in, big dog. Hold it in.
From the Georgia election interference case against President-elect Trump. Now, DA Willis has until January 13th to submit arguments before a final order is ruled. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is back in the spotlight after Superior Court Judge Shakira Ingram ruled she can face a subpoena by the Georgia State Senate. The Republican-led Senate committee is looking into whether she engaged in misconduct during her prosecution of President-elect Donald Trump.
Yes, she did. Let me save y'all some time, some taxpayer dollars, some investigation work. Everybody and their mama know that she is 100%. Let me rephrase that for the people in the back because y'all might have missed it. 100% engaged, in my opinion. She was 100% engaged in misconduct and leveraging her office and using taxpayer dollars to do the things that she wasn't supposed to do. Now, my biggest thing isn't even for her. I'm not even tripping on Fani Willis. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not even tripping. I ain't got no complaints about Fani Willis. Fani Willis did what Fani Willis does. She was leveraged by the Kamala Harris and Biden administration to wage war against Trump that she lost because God is real. God is good all the time. That's number one. She enriched herself and allowed for herself to benefit off of somebody that was largely inexperienced in prosecuting the cases that was brought forth against Trump in order to have election interference to the tune of over $700,000 that we know of. And then she tried to act like she paid him back in cash. We knew that was a lie. And she talked so sassy and so disrespectful on the bench. And you know what the worst part about this whole thing is? It's not even Fani Willis. This is what I'm saying. The worst thing about this whole conversation is not even Fani Willis. The worst thing about this conversation is the fact that y'all black people decided that y'all wanted to re-elect her and get her back in office, and she was supported by the black church. She was endorsed by Jamal Bryant. She was able to stand on the pulpit, which is supposed to be sacred ground. Sacred ground. She was standing on pulpits of the black churches down there in Atlanta and Fulton County, and they advocated for her, and they stood on business when it came to celebrating and promoting and advocating for her to stay back in office, even though she is a sinner. She is a sinner's sinner. The people that need to be held accountable is not only her and Nathan Wade, but also the community and the black church. It's a popularity contest inside of these Tyler Perry churches got to stop. The popularity contest inside of these Tyler Perry churches got to stop. It got to stop. It got to stop now.
They are the head of all prosecutions in their county. So therefore, no one should be able to question them, right? Well, the Georgia Senate disagrees with that.
Trial attorney and political analyst Joshua Schiffer breaks down the decision. According to the ruling, Willis has until January 13th to submit arguments over whether the subpoenas require her to provide confidential information. Judge Ingram will then issue a final order saying what Willis has to respond to.
Prosecutors are used to strong independence
I love
and
you too.
the
Shout out to
exclusive
XJ.
duties and privileges of their position.
Former Georgia Governor Roy Barnes represents Willis in the case and says they want the ruling overturned and they plan to appeal. This also comes after a 2-1 ruling by the State of Appeals Court earlier this month, removing Willis from the Georgia election interference case against President-elect Trump, citing, quote, an appearance of impropriety. Willis's office is asking the Georgia Supreme Court to review that decision. This fight going back months. The Senate committee hoped to question Willis back in September, but she skipped that meeting. The committee turned to Judge Ingram in October, asking for Willis to comply with the subpoenas. Schiffer says don't expect anything major to happen soon.
What this really does is moves the ball forward to an eventual date where Fani Willis will either have to show up and testify and bring some information.
Yeah, we know there's a lot to keep track
Them S's, man.
of here, and here's something else to keep in mind. The current Georgia legislative term ends when new lawmakers are sworn in for their new term. Republican State Senator Greg Dolezal of Cumming says he plans to file to reestablish this committee at the beginning of the 2025 legislative session.
I think that they're going after. Slowly but surely, you're going to start to see the cards fall. That's what's happening right now. Is a process. It's a process. It is something that you seeing happening slowly, but it's not going to go away. And what she thought was going to go away just because they took Nathan Wade off the case. First of all, the case is completely in shambles and it's all fell apart. So we don't have to worry about Trump ever getting convicted over in Fulton County from all of these fake charges in the first place. That's dumb. But I believe that this is just the beginning. Honestly, I think that this is just the beginning. You're going to see her have to testify, then she's going to have to start to justify, then she's going to have to start to pivot, and then you're going to see her wanting to look for a pardon, and she going to want Biden to pardon her for everything that happened all the way back to 2004. And I think that she's going to go down. Eventually, she's going down. And she was dependent. Most of these people were depending on Kamala Harris to get into office so that they can save themselves. Most of these people were depending on Kamala Harris to get into office so that they can save themselves. They believed and they rocked with her. And she told them probably, hey, listen, I'm going to be president of the United States of America. Roll with me. You're going to get a seat in my cabinet. You play by the rules. Everything is going to work out in your benefit. And let's just go ahead and get Trump out of the way because he's our biggest obstacle. We can handle this person. We can handle this person. We can handle that person. But Trump, he too strong. He too strong. We're going to go ahead and proactively try to get him up out of there. And none of it worked because God said it is so. And it is so. Because God said, nope, that's not what we going with. We not rocking with it. And you're going to have to atone for and account for everything that you did in this office that was crooked and evil and negative. And we're going to hold you accountable for these things that's happening inside of this place. That's what God said. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Shout out to Fani Willis. Oh, man, it's been a great show. I had one more story lined up for y'all, but it's Saturday. It's Saturday. I'm going to let y'all go. I'm going to let y'all enjoy y'all loved ones. Y'all have seen me go off enough for Saturday. Had to channel that back, that 2022 Anton from AntonDaniels.com for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. Let me read some of these super chats and then I'm going to get y'all up out of here for the day. Thank you. See you Monday on live. Shout out to More Than Mellow. Kid Chameleon says, Jeff doesn't know it, but he single-handedly reverse engineered the Me Too movement on or off the job. Keep receipts on all these hoes. We can't call them hoes, y'all. It's only a certain demographic of them is hoes. The rest of them are ladies. Hey, Anton, I'm a service desk analyst, help desk. I'm looking to move up. Should I get into cloud or cybersecurity? Either one is great, but I always say to go into cybersecurity. Cloud is, listen, it's 50-50. Either one of them is great. It just depends on what it is that you feel like you're going to be great at or what you're going to feel like you'd be better at. You know what I'm saying? So, yep, great question. Either one is fine. Either one is fine. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest on earth. Jay Ben is talking about that Gorilla Grip starting to slip. Docs, box. Y'all are the greatest audience on earth. I will be updating the Patreon tonight or tomorrow morning, probably tonight, of when we're going to be live streaming because we got to get y'all money right. All right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this rare Saturday show. Y'all need something on Saturday? I got you, big dog. I'm going to holler at y'all later. I love y'all. Peace.